Kimsey, would you like to go first?
Yes,
Will you
ma'am.
introduce yourself for the record and
Yes,
then you can
ma'am.
start sharing?
My name is Kimsey Stewart. Raise this. Is this good?
Yes, that's better.
My name is Kimsey Stewart. I'm 20 years old. I'm a sophomore in mass communications at LSU. I'm an out-of-state student. I chose LSU instead of any of the other schools that I had gained admission to because I felt like this was the campus that I wanted to be on. This was the community that I wanted to be a part of. And this was a school that I felt like was going to give me the best opportunities after I graduated. I like to think that I'm a pretty involved student on campus. I'm on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council for PHC, and I'm also on the DEI committee for my specific sorority chapter. I'm also in Tiger Band. I was on LSU's Winter Guard this semester, and I joined Tigers Against Sexual Assault organization after like the day that the Hush Blackwell report came out because I was so horrified at what was in it. LSU means a lot to me, and my academic performance here means a lot to me. And actually, I should be in a class right now, but I'm not. Instead, I'm here. I'm here because the school that I love has chosen, once again, to protect the people who protect abusers over me. Once again, LSU has chosen its athletic department over me. Once again, LSU has chosen to cover its own behind instead of me. Instead of students, instead of women, and instead of victims, LSU has chosen abusers and those who enable them. LSU has chosen not to appear here today because, in their words, it would not be prudent for persons associated with LSU to provide testimony under oath. Instead, myself and several other students are here, missing class, to tell you what LSU would have had to tell you. The university does not care about students. They only care about how much money they can make off of students. This is evident in so many facets of life at LSU, many of which I'm sure you will hear about today and in hearings to come. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my interactions that I've had with LSU PD as a student on campus. As a woman on this campus, we are told over and over again that LSU PD is there to protect us. We're told about the SHIELD app, which doesn't work. We're told that late at night, LSU PD officers are there to keep us safe. As an LSU student, I was told over and over and over again to listen to my gut, and if I feel like someone is on campus who shouldn't be, that I should report it. Before COVID sent us all home my freshman year, I witnessed an older-looking man peeping in the windows of students' dorms. I immediately called LSU PD. The woman who answered the phone told me she would not dispatch an officer unless I stayed there with the man who was looking in women's windows. I told her there was no way that I was going to stand there and, be near this man who was looking in students' windows. She said she wouldn't send an officer if I didn't stay, and then hung up on me. I don't know if an officer was ever sent, and I don't know whatever came of that situation. My freshman year, I also worked at the Reveille, which is the school's student newspaper. When I worked at the Reveille, I became aware of several disturbing stories of interactions between women on this campus and LSU PD. If you were to go back to 2019 and early 2020, you will find the reporting that myself and other students did on these topics. Women who were stalked and harassed on campus, and LSU PD knew and did nothing. Women who were groped and flashed on campus buses were told by LSU PD that there was nothing they could do. I interviewed a woman who said that she had been to LSU PD to file a police report against a man stalking and harassing her, and she had even gotten the dean of her senior college involved. She had been to LSU PD 3 times and filed 3 different police reports. They said that they didn't have any and that they had never spoken to her. And I think about her every single day. While I have not been assaulted, stalked, or harassed on this campus yet, nearly every woman I know has. And I say yet because men who will become abusers are watching LSU decline to punish abusers and their enablers and thinking that because LSU is not punishing them, that behavior is okay, and it is not. Most of the recent attention on LSU has been on the failure of LSU athletics to protect its students, but I want you to know that the problems are so much wider across the institution than that. There are tenured professors with assault and harassment allegations against them who are still daily interacting with students. There are students on campus who have allegations against them by other students who have not, and it seems will not, be punished. Today I am missing one class because LSU chose abusers over me. But that is nothing compared to the continued trauma and disruption to the lives of victims and the victims of these abusers have experienced. I'm missing one class, but the students who have been abused and have had their abuse systematically and intentionally dismissed have missed so much more. I love the LSU community and I love the opportunities that LSU's Manship School has offered me. But let me be clear. I have thrived as a woman on this campus despite an institution and administration that sees students as dollar signs and nothing more. On the day the Hush Black Girl report came out, the LSU Board of Supervisors and President Galligan said over and over again that the problems at LSU are systematic. They have continued to say that as if somehow that removes some of the blame from their shoulders. They are correct, it is systematic. But what they have failed to recognize is that they are the system. They haven't done anything to change the system before, and they are not doing anything meaningful now. It is my opinion that if you are not willing to make any meaningful change to the system that they have admitted is the problem, they have no business being on the board, and they should resign. I hope that the board and President Galligan have watched and listened to every student and every victim's testimony. And I hope every time they close their eyes, every time they get a moment alone, and at night when they're going to bed, that those women haunt them. I hope that every time President Galligan and the Board of Supervisors lay down at night to go to sleep, they think about the haunting testimony that I can't stop thinking about. The testimony that I have heard from this room has scared me and has scarred me, and I'm sure that every woman on campus is feeling a similar level of trauma, even as LSU is saying, oh, we're doing all of this to fix it. And they haven't done anything except suspend 2 people for a training that they've admitted is flawed and doesn't work. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Charlie?
Good evening. My name is Charlie Stevens. I'm also a student at LSU's Manship School of Mass Communication, studying political communication, and I'm from Baton Rouge, and I'm a sophomore. I think it's important to note, like, today, the LSU Reveille, which is the student newspaper, on the front page listed 9 LSU administrators that declined to appear here today before this committee. No shows. I'm a mass communication major, so I feel it's a need for me to highlight these amazing student journalists as you've highlighted journalists throughout this process. There's been a lot of praise for Kenny Jacoby, who's a great person, and the Advocate reporters, but we have Tiger TV reporters here and Reveille reporters. I think that's really cool, and I just wanted to take a moment to recognize that. And then I also wanted to talk about the social media post that Rep. Freeman mentioned about Tiger Stadium and other athletic facilities being lit in teal. This received like almost unanimous backlash from the student body for this performative action. And while LSU is lighting buildings in teal, other state flagship universities are firing university presidents, athletic directors, head football coaches, not for losing games, but for violating policies that they know about with a report that we paid for with taxpayer dollars at LSU, like Senator Hewitt mentioned. It's infuriating and it's embarrassing, and seemingly every day LSU releases another anchor to its public relations campaign. Teal lights, random emails that say literally nothing and just, like, clog up my inbox. Yeah. Teal wristbands for athletes that I'm sure no one wants to wear. And yet with all these PR campaigns, it still feels like the university is just waiting for everything to go away like it did 10 years ago. LSU says its employees couldn't testify today because of a lawsuit. Ed Ogeron, Miriam Seeger, Verge Osbury, and Scott Woodward all stated that they would not attend this hearing prior to this lawsuit being public knowledge or being brought to light, unless, of course, LSU already knew about this lawsuit. Recently, LSU concluded its spring 2021 student government election, and the main issue was sexual assault. I think that speaks volumes for the university and the climate that students are facing on the university. And I think these are all points that should be considered and entered into the record, and that's why I'm here today.
Well, I want to thank both of you for the courage to be here today and to provide that testimony. Kimsey, I just really love that statement that you made and the irony of that, which is so true. And we agree with you. And so as they are listening, I hope that they are really taking this in so that they can make the changes that are necessary. But thank you so very much. And I agree with you about the Tigers being here representing the media. We appreciate them.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I've seen on Twitter recently several rumors swirling that LSU might be firing Will Wade for several mediocre basketball seasons. And I would like the LSU administration to think about firing someone for mediocre basketball seasons, not bad ones, just mediocre ones, when they won't fire people who have admitted that they were complicit in abuse.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.